All right, I want to call the Public Works meeting to order. Thank you, everybody, for joining us at this lovely April day. Up first, we have solid waste.
It's so lovely, there's stuff here.
That's right. We could be outdoors. I don't think it's quite that long for that. Another day.
So I'm gonna
Folder
get,
time?
yeah. you're gonna
Folder
get a
time,
folder.
all right.
So in case you can't make it on Friday,
I will be there.
you have a press packet that we're gonna be handing out. Okay, so on Friday, we're gonna do our kickoff to our food scrap program. We've invited forward climate smart committees, zero waste committees. It's gonna be 10:30 at the Greenport Transfer Station. The individual from the company will be there till 1 o'clock. So if you can't make the 10:30, please come on up and we'll do a later demonstration to show you how it works.
Where's this gonna be?
Greenport Transfer Station. Okay. So we did receive notification from DEC that our grant is being approved right now. So we should be getting payment, and the original terms of this was up to 90%. So we did pay roughly 78,000 for the unit. So we should be seeing that revenue coming back. Also in your packet, I included the information for our upcoming household hazardous waste event. It's going to be April 29th from 8 until noon. It's going to be at the Fire Training Center. Fires are out everywhere. So please feel free, if we missed anybody, to pass it along. All right, now for the topic of brush and yard waste. I know a number of the supervisors have been receiving complaints since we made a change at the station. Due to the fact that we had to revamp the entire station, and for those of you that will be coming up on Friday, you'll get to see it. We had to downscale our operations for collecting brush. So currently we're only taking 3-inch in length, 2-inch in diameter, small quantities. We did contact Olmsted Nursery and Gromax. They're more than happy to take it from the public. The only issue that they're having is the same issue that we were having, is that it's including construction, demolition debris, pallets, wire, and garbage. They actually offer a very competitive rate to take it there, better than we could do. So that kind of gives you an explanation of why we're not taking it and what the alternatives are for the residents to take it
So
out.
your facility looks lovely without the brush pile, doesn't
It
it?
It really
And we have
does.
much more room now for the other containers.
Well, you're gonna have
you
a
know.
lot of programs coming up in the next couple of years.
Right.
And now we have the space to grow into those
For
programs.
those of you that haven't been there, I do encourage you to get up and see it. I know we're not gonna have the blacktop done for this event, but it is lovely up there. They
It
got
is
all the
lovely.
Ray's been overseeing highway facilities and everybody working on the solid waste guys. Really looking nice up there. So.
Really appreciative that the committee allowed us to do those changes, and for the crews that have been doing it.
Just having that second top load building has cleaned up the yard.
Oh my God, immensely.
Immensely.
Immensely. Okay, onto bags. We currently went out to bid for 2-size bags. So in the future, we'll be offering $1, which we are offering now, $3 and $5, eliminating the $2 and $4 that we had in the past. So we're going to simplify it. So it's pretty much small, medium, and large bag. As we did not budget for this, we do have to take it out of our existing budget, which means that the department's going to lose $38,000 in monies that we had set aside to buy equipment that we needed. But
Need the
we need the bags because we're losing revenue. So we're going to start out next month. Well, I was going to talk to Ron about that. The bid comes back on Monday. Is there a way we could maybe have a special committee to bid? Kelly. Just because it's time sensitive to get them ordered.
Prior to full board. You're talking
Yeah.
about in May.
Is something maybe we can,
We got finance next week,
Oh, yeah, you can get it before finance.
yes,
Wednesday.
Then you
Yeah,
have
we'll
a
have it.
special.
we'll have
Yeah.
it. So,
Good
So
thing, Jim.
Yeah.
If this committee just makes that recommendation to send it to finance, we can do that. You know,
okay. We'd appreciate that.
that good with everybody?
I'm gonna get a motion to send it.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
You gotta cease the collection of the stickers. give them
Yeah,
a
so
contraband.
we're gonna give, probably until the end of the year, to use up the stickers, but the bags will go in immediately upon receiving them. We're looking at, from the time we order, approximately 3 weeks, and we should have the bags.
Speaking of the bags too, I did have a resident come in the other day looking for our town clerk to get $1 bags, and the clerk said you can only get them at the transfer or the stations. And they said that they were told at the station that you could only get them at the clerk's office.
Everybody has,
Everybody-
I
everybody
had
that
that
wants
scenario too.
bags.
Yeah, it is
Everybody that
communication,
wants
that's all.
bags can have bags.
Yeah.
They're at all the stations because we deliver them weekly and.
But the
a
clerks are
number
not
of
gonna have
clerks-
$1 bags.
Oh, no, the clerks have them.
Our clerk
If they're
says no.
interested in having them,
Okay.
just give the call
I
to
get
the
it.
office and we will deliver them to them.
I hear
Court
you.
has them.
So I thought I was told originally that you were only gonna sell them at the
Right.
transfer station.
Yeah,
No, we actually, because we got so many calls from a number of the clerks wanting to sell them, we started distributing them.
Go ahead. You're gonna go through the end of the year with the
Use up the
Sticker.
tags,
Right.
Accepting them.
yes. we
accepting
have
them,
to.
so you have to?
We have to because it would probably then cost us roughly $120,000 to purchase bags to be able to exchange them.
Yeah, that was gonna be
Yeah.
the thought to exchange them
And then it's gonna be a nightmare from an auditing standpoint.
from all,
So the sooner we can get the bags
yeah.
In
out to
circulation.
circulation, the quicker we can put a Band-Aid on this problem.
And the bags are good. That's too big. Very small.
They are strong.
You can get a lot of.
So on to Greenport, like we were discussing, it's coming along great. Compactor is almost complete. Highway's gonna be doing some prep work, before we, start paving. And that's slated, I believe, for the middle or end of May. The following is a list of cleanup days that our department is gonna be working with the different towns. And as you can see, there's quite a list. And I do have one addition that's not on the agenda, just informational. We're gonna be changing some of the station's hours. The Germantown station, effective May 31st, is going to be open all day on Wednesday instead of half a day. That's just based on volume. We've had the car counters at all the stations trying to get a determination on what was more feasible days and operational needs. Kinderhook Station, effective after Labor Day, will be closed on Fridays. So they'll be operational Monday, Wednesday, and Saturday, normal hours, but we will be closing that Friday. The volume just isn't there to support being method. And we will make that, signs will be going up at the station. There'll be ample notice for all the clerks.
Okay.
Okay. Is there any questions?
You said coffee grounds are allowed in the digester, but no probably paper coffee filters.
Okay, so we hope to see whoever can make it up on Friday, and if you can't make it up and would like to have a demonstration, just to the office support another time, we'll set something up.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Up next, we have highway.
Hi, Tom.
So Friday morning, are we gonna all get chicken wings and just run in?
Sure, yeah, just throw the bones in and then,
Where's the product? Where's
we're
the
gonna say
product?
go home with some fertilizer, you know? We might get a donut, I don't know, but.
That's why I'm going up.
Does Buffalo compost quicker than Parmesan?
All right, you ready?
Yeah.
Okay. Had some snow and ice operations, but hopefully that's all done now. And kind of got more, I think, in the spring than we did over the winter. Still patching some shoulders, some potholes, snow fence, snow and ice equipment coming apart. You might notice that some of your roads might be a little delayed in getting swept, and we're trying to work around the solid waste project, and then we also just currently started shoulder reconstruction up on County 5. I was able to get the contractors in early so that I can get the next round of contractors in early, so we don't end up paving in November like we did a couple years ago. So your right-of-way cleanup might be a little delayed. Washing bridges, ditch and culvert cleaning, and some repairs and installations. You'll start seeing that starting up again soon. Personnel update. We had one motor equipment operator resign and one employee out on workers' comp and one part-time laborer, which is our after-hours watchman, resigned.
How long did that watchman, he didn't last long, did it?
No, well, I mean, he was there for like 20-some years before
Oh,
that, and then he
okay.
wanted to come back, and we had that opening that we couldn't fill for like
Yeah,
a year,
that's
so
right.
he came back.
Okay.
No, we filled the last opening just before he decided to leave again, so now we're right back where we were. But pretty
So he's retired this third time now, or?
Yeah, exactly. No new business, and I have 3 resolution requests. First one is, for 2 vacant budgeted positions of motor equipment operator 1 in the highway department.
I'll move it.
Second.
Motion second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
The second one is for budgeted position of part-time labor, that's the watchman position. in the highway department.
Move it.
Second.
Motion second, all in favor?
Aye.
And the third one is authorization to purchase a 2023, it should be, Cam Superline 7-ton split tilt deck trailer.
I had another resolution for
Yeah,
personnel.
Yeah, I.
You did?
Oh, okay.
So check that one out.
Two part-time or?
Who's the hours on the
I
watch?
only had 1, I had 2, I mean. I had the MEOs, did we do the MEOs?
We did the 2 MEOs on one, but then I had 2 separate resolutions for part-time.
I thought when we
Yeah,
went
I
through.
don't need the part-time one.
Oh, okay.
So don't, that's just.
Yeah, because we thought there was 2.
Yeah, I thought it was
What are the
21
hours
21
on
the other day.
Yeah,
It depends on the shift.
We only did one. in
They
21.
do, well, right now we're in our summer hours, so they come in during the week, 3 o'clock to 11,
Mhm.
11 to 6 in the morning. And then on the weekends, it's around the clock. They do 8-hour shifts, 7 to 8-hour shift depending on the shifts.
What are the job requirements?
There's really no civil service job requirements for it. You gotta
Stay awake.
stay awake.
and be there.
Watch the gate.
Wow.
Be
That
there.
sounds too stressful to me.
That's actually one of our job requirements for everybody at this point. But yeah, I mean, it entails clean, like different shifts do, they have different sections that they clean, different offices that they clean, different responsibilities. Like the weekday guy that comes in, when we're going home, he's responsible for doing all the fuel meter readings, on the diesel and gas pumps. Like I said, cleaning, vacuuming, they're required to make rounds, every hour. They have certain checkpoints that they go to just to make everything, because there's no alarms or anything in the building, so they go through and they check all, make sure nothing's on fire, or, they have cameras they gotta check throughout the night. Wintertime, all year, they're responsible for taking the phone calls that come in after hours. Wintertime, they're responsible for dispatching the foreman, the foremen that are on call, the on-call general foreman. Any road complaints will come into the office, and then they forward it to whoever's on call. So for wintertime, the assistant general foreman alternate, and then summertime from May 1st until November, it's me, so they call me. And then, of course, the gates, because there's entities coming in all through the night, all day, all night, getting fuel, ambulances, fire trucks, buses, stuff like that. So it's kind of a,
I didn't mean to trivialize the position.
oh, no, yeah, no, there's no
Yeah.
real requirement, you just gotta be able to, physically clean and stay awake for big one. I mean, those overnight shifts
Kinda hard to
are
clean while you're sleeping.
kind of rough.
Yeah.
Yeah, winter time is a little easier because it's a little busier, and a lot of the nights, they're all in anyways. The guys are in with the weather, but so yeah, that's about it. Yep. Did I do the last one? I didn't do.
No,
that.
No, you
Yeah.
started to, and then I interrupted you, I'm sorry.
That's authorization to purchase a 7-ton, 19-foot trailer, and that'll be for the new Bobcat that we ordered last year. We haven't gotten yet.
Is that a Pinto or is this trailer a Pinto?
It's yeah.
I'll
Yeah.
move it.
I'll second.
We got a motion and a second, all in favor?
And I can say on that, and I know we already passed it, but the dealer did not give us any indication that there was going to be any increasing the price as it goes along.
You're getting that from trailers, right? Yeah.
Trailers. And this one actually came in a little cheaper than the one we ordered last year. So the same as the same trailers.
What's the background?
What's that?
When do you think you'll have it?
I believe they had it in
I
stock.
was just gonna say, I
Yeah.
thought when I was up there.
Yeah. Yeah. And that was the same case with the one last year. It was actually in stock.
He's got a pretty good inventory.
Yeah. Yeah. And nowadays it's rare to have anything in stock anywhere.
Yeah.
Like I said, we'll probably have the trailer before the Bobcat comes in.
Yeah.
We ordered that, I think, last May, I think.
You just had to buy a couple F-350s right off Monkeys' lot.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, that's the only way to get anything now. If you find it, you gotta grab it. And it's hard when you're you gotta go through the process to do it, and by the time you get through the process, it's around. But there's nothing, to my knowledge, I don't think there's anything pickup truck wise on OGS or anyone else bids right now. I think
The
there's
heavy
one for the
ones
year.
go like, they don't even, they hit the lot and they're gone.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
250s,
Yeah, we went to
350s.
Dodge and they're still taking forever to get. We had to buy one off the lot, 5,500.
Right.
We got about 2 big trucks next year.
Yeah, we're talking to big trucks and they're, year and a half, 2 years out.
Yeah, I'm still waiting. I haven't even gotten the cabin chassis. The 2 tandems that I ordered last year, those 2 Western Stars, we don't even have the cabin chassis yet.
Right.
And we're
That's what's
here-
challenging. I mean,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
start to put it together now, but.
Yeah,
and
and
2
it's,
years
and
out,
it's challenging too, and
another truck may break down before then.
Right. And we're buying those out of chips too, so you
Yeah.
order it one year and then you got all this rollover, and the state doesn't like to see you rolling
No.
over money, but what do you do?
I know.
You committed to it, and so you're buying them in one year's chips money and you're paying out of the next year's chip money. So,
I got one question. I don't know if you guys or Brian, if you're hot patching, there's soil and water building off of,
No.
66.
Yeah.
You should be.
Right as you depart from the driveway going to the electrolysis building, there's a huge pothole. So if either one of you guys has some hot patch,
Every year that pops up, same thing, so I think I on schedule.
well, it's right where those cars.
it's on your schedule?
Yeah.
It's on the schedule. I appreciate it.
Yeah, that's all we got right now too.
58.
Yeah, our patch crew hasn't started up yet. They're all tied up in Keenan and then the shoulder reconstruction. So.
And Tony, how are you doing with lining up paving for the year? And I know we don't know what we're getting for chip shed until we get a state budget, but
How we
we
line
have,
up for paving?
yeah, I mean, are you lining things up okay?
Everything's.
With the anticipation of getting-
Yeah, everything's lined up. Like this, shoulder reconstruction that we started up in Keenan on County 5.
Yep.
Because I still had rollover from last year. so I
Right.
can use that. Then they're going from there down to Anklam, because we do that ahead of whatever process we're gonna do. County 5 then gonna get hot in place recycling. And County 7 is gonna get cold in place recycling. It's 2 different contractors, so it
Mhm.
works out because with the timing, 5 will be done by the time highway rehab is ready to come down. And then 7 will be done when Peckham's ready to come up, so we can get them, reclaimed and then paved. So, I'm hoping to have all that paving, those 2 big jobs anyways, done for the first chip submission.
Okay.
That's probably just jinx myself. I
Yeah.
always do.
No.
I always jinx myself in these meetings, but that was kind of the goal. Because it was a 5-year plan, the CHIPS plan,
Yeah, I know.
It's
yeah.
just, it's just waiting on it
I
now,
know.
so it's really.
It's not official yet, but.
Right, it's in theory. I was kind of hoping that the budget would have passed and I would have got my CHIPS letter, so I know exactly
Right.
what I had for
I know.
rollover.
Yeah, we
And I
all
could have
would,
given
but-
you the exact numbers.
Yeah.
But it's gonna be right around, even with the rollover, it's gonna probably be right around where we were last year, I think.
Okay.
Which was what, like 4.2 or something like
Yeah.
that, so it should be somewhere in there.
But you're not holding back on lining up the work anyway. Get it going.
No,
Yeah,
you
I-
hold back,
I know, that's what I mean.
Yeah, no,
I actually hear the price
I
is
don't have
actually a
any
little
doubts
cheaper
that
right
we're
now than
gonna
it
have
was
the
last
money.
year,
Yeah.
so.
And like I said, I know what we didn't spend last year.
Sure.
So we have
Right.
that, at the very least, we have that to get started this year.
Okay.
So I'm hoping by the time we get to the next step of these, for
We'll
these
know.
2 roads, we'll know.
Okay,
All right.
thank you.
One question.
Yes,
What sections of County 5 are you doing? Are you
We're-
starting with the levy line?
we're starting, in Red Rock, where
Yep.
the big line is.
24.
Yeah, the 24.
Right.
And going to the thruway bridge.
Okay, so B3, 24 B3.
Yeah, yeah.
Thank you.
Brian is up next with facilities.
Yeah, to Tony's, for your question, as a former watchman, they made it a lot easier now because of technology. You can stream now. Before, they used to give us a TV this big, like it was a radio TV, so it was hard to stay awake.
Watching closed circuit security cameras, right?
Well, I used to go
Not
to,
the 18.
this is how long ago it was. I used to go to Video Cave, used to rent 3 movies a night. So I could, got me to, so I could make it through. So it was
So
a
how
little
long ago was
expensive.
that? Yeah, video game, that's a lot.
Yeah, video tape.
Yeah, so that's what I used to do I did Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. And first thing I did, got 3 videos. I used to bring my own TV and VCR, set it up so I could, because it wasn't easy staying awake. So, wow. But that has changed a little bit easier now. So,
Yeah.
Grease truck.
yeah. Some of the work, 325. Had to paint a couple offices and do the office shuffle, like we always have to do every once in a while. 401, install a new toilet, grab bars, cleaned out the basement.
What'd you get?
We got both, the one side, Board of Elections old room.
Right.
We started on our lower storage room, but we're gonna wait to really do anything major in there till we get some of those window, I call them the window wells,
Right.
taken care of, because that's where our pennant, so that's what we're working on now. 560, we put a new fence gate in between the 2 buildings. It came out pretty good. Currently had to install 2 portable AC units, one in the clerk's office and one up in real property, just for the delay in all the mechanical equipment coming in. Most of it's finally in, but now we're just hitting in a bad spot. So now they got temporary air conditioning just to get them by. Had one little issue right now, getting one of the units in the basement. We're still, trying to figure it out. Our elevator, so they're coming up with solutions now. So, but things are working pretty good. We had the new cooling tower installed and we got water running through it, and we can actually use units right now. So we're trying to, we worked out a schedule, and I got it to just mentioned to some of the department heads. So at least we'll be able to run a couple units while we take units out. And so 2 units are in the DMV section. So we're going to take one down there and another one. So they always have air conditioning. Plus we have the supplemental. So, so far, everything's covered. The courthouse, the rooms 109 and 111, our little renovation project is completed. We're gonna move them in next week. Then we're just, we had to build storage cage, so we can take room 129 and put a lot of our stuff in there and build a little, she wants an office, so we have to build a wall in there and new countertop. So, public safety, we put a new pot feeder in for the heat pump loop. The cooling tower and controls are installed. It's ready for operation. We tested everything. Everything's ready to go. Then currently we're running computer and electric for all the access points for the touchpad project. That's currently going on there. Let's see here, solid waste. We still got work left up there. Just waiting for the compactors to get relocated. We had a couple issues with a broken conduit and a broken sewer pipe, but
In the Board of Elections, are you running that thing on dehumidifier at this point? Or I see
it was on.
Last time I was down there, they weren't.
Yeah, I told them dehumidifier, then,
Right.
when the
AC,
weather,
yeah.
AC, but we just had them cleaned, thoroughly cleaned, so,
They working better? Are they
yeah.
running?
So, but
It's been a dehumidified mode the last few days. I've been checking them on the way in here.
Oh,
You know?
yeah, so. But like I said, if someone goes down there, that's why I kind of just leave them in it, don't
Yeah.
touch it.
Yeah,
Let it go and don't touch it.
when I was there, they
So-
were off,
Yeah. So, let's see here. So water and sewer, the first quarter meter readings are done. We repaired a heater at Mount Ida. And, PM is, getting done on sewer pumps. So, personnel update, 2 new part-time laborers started at night. And I still have 1 employee out on workman's comp. I have a resolution, authorization to purchase, 1 John Deere Z930M Z-Track zero-turn mower for the public safety building, under New York State contract at a cost not to exceed $16,000.
Just for the sake of talk, I think you bought one, but it was 13. I'm not sure the numbers. Was that the same number you?
We got a bagger with it.
Oh,
Yeah, we got the
I
bagger
think
with
it
it,
was
so
around so it was $3,000 more for the.
I think so. It was like 20,
Yeah, they run about 25.
Yeah.
Okay.
so really we do that there is that, just for the front
Mhm.
and that area. And, we didn't want to go with a larger one because there's gates and everything in the back. So this one will fit
Where it's got.
where it's got to go.
Take
So,
the rubber guard out.
yeah.
Spoken from experience.
Whereas this will replace the previous mower, which I believe I was using 25 years ago.
That wasn't not a zero turn, was it?
No, it's old
Yeah.
Bowens, but I love that thing. It's an old Bowens, so.
I'll move it.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. All in favor? Opposed?
Brian, any issues with Whittier or Dent?
No. No. So, the only thing I can say is from the probably last meeting, they are gonna, noticing, it's gonna take till, was it the next meter reading, but their water usage is way down. So they fixed a lot of their problems there. But you're probably talking about like clogs.
waste.
No, so far, my guys have been out there and everything's running fine, so,
Oh. Yeah,
so.
no more rags.
Do you want to bring in a gazebo resolution or is that, you got that?
That's at the end.
Okay, I didn't know Brian usually does that. So I didn't know.
What's
No,
that?
he doesn't
Oh,
do
yeah.
Okay.
It's just water gonna fill out.
Yeah.
All right, up next we have Mr. Jakowski.
Good afternoon, everyone.
All of this stuff is for Ray.
Yeah, and I didn't have a nice folder either.
I know, well, see, you can tell where the money is being spent, right? You know? But she's all being green. I see. That's what
Yeah,
that is.
that's good. So starting off with our bridge and highway projects from an engineering, Valley View. So again, full board meeting that it was awarded. One of the issues that we are running into, as everyone else, are supply chain issues. Structural steel contractors indicated that it's approximately 9 to 12 months. So even if we were to order today, we will not see that steel until the late fourth quarter of this year. So we actually have a meeting coming up tomorrow between the consultants and the contractors to see what we could potentially do schedule wise, as well as some value engineering on the project as well. Once I have that meeting, I'll be able to provide an update as far as that.
By the way, I haven't gotten any complaints.
Okay.
And I put the word out. And by the way, it's really okay. It's just as well that that work is not done in the high season of the park.
Yeah,
Right.
agreed. Okay. County Route 18, Fish and Game, construction recommenced on that particular project. So again, anyone traveling along that roadway, contractors working on cross culverts and shoulder work, so there'll be daily lane closures. There will be a complete closure, but that will not occur until after school ends at the end of June. It's the second box culvert that needs to be installed. There's been a slight delay on that. Unfortunately, there was damage to the culvert during the winter months. It was cast in the fall. It was held on site at the caster. Water got into it, cracked it.
Really?
Yeah, we did not accept it, so therefore they have
Where'd you
to,
get it from?
Fort Miller, which is surprising, yeah. Usually they're pretty good about it. But in any event, so they had to recast it. But again, that'll work because that way school will be out when that work is done. Other engineering items, so 911 call center, preliminary plans are complete. We met with the architect and the group as far as 911 have provided comments. We're satisfied with the layout at this point. Some changes did occur. There's been some scope creep associated with the project. Rough square footage has increased from roughly 3,000 square feet to 3,900. Part of that's code requirements, plus we're looking at creating additional office space, which would be above and beyond what 911 actually requires. So we're actually building a little bit bigger. However, that means that the overall cost is going to be increasing up to a budget of 1.6 from 1.2. What we are doing is we would request a motion tonight that would allow the project to go to the budget and ARPA work group requesting an additional $400,000 from ARPA. So again, second floor, there's an interim space. Kelly, do you mind just, my apologies, can you get to some of my notes? There's a floor plan, so I can better describe it to the committee.
While you're finding that, I just want to say that I've sat in all of these, most all these meetings, I think, you know, but we've had Rob Lopez, George Keeler, Bubba Harrison, you know, Ray and myself, and I'm missing anybody in that group.
Nope.
But you know, the input from those guys has been very valuable. I tell you, Rob Lopez has been right on with what he needs. There's nothing really frivolous being asked for. But they've had some very constructive comments on how to help design this with the designers. So I think that we're designing something that's really going to be usable out there.
Keep going down.
I was gonna say, Brandon, that didn't change it.
There we go.
Page 36.
Yeah. So that's the first floor plan. So originally, when we were trying to conceive the plan, we actually anticipated roughly 3,000 square feet in total, and it was going to be 2 stories. So roughly 1,500 square feet on each. After speaking with 911 and them taking a closer look at their operation, they actually wanted to make sure that all of their required office space, as far as their staff, be located next to or adjacent to the 911 center. So therefore, we did provide for that in what we're considering. Can you just zoom out a little bit, Kelly? Sorry. What we're considering to be is, oh, I'm sorry, just zoom out a little bit. Just hit the minus, just.
To 150.
Perfect. No, that's right. Yep.
There you go.
So what's taking place is you have the 911.
This is the
Yeah.
existing building.
Existing buildings to the right. There's what we're considering to be the interim area. So there's office spaces, bathroom, kitchenette located in the center area. And then everything on the far left, which is the large square, is the actual 911 center, along with their mechanical room, their UPS backup, servers, so on and so forth. So
Is that heading north or south?
This is south.
this is on the south side.
So it's coming into the
Into the
primary
parking
lot.
Correct. However, we are going to be going right on the very edge of the parking lot. Okay, so we're trying to not take up.
What we did, here's the existing building, and we shifted this out into the yard, you know, towards where the propane tank sits there now. We have to relocate the propane tank, but we'll pull that out into the yard so that the parking lot remains. You can still use that garage door and even the van door that's there now going in the south end of that building.
So this layout works better for 911. We also ran into a code issue because of the existing building. So again, the way the building code looks at the 911 call center is that if everything else in the world were to go wrong, a fire in the existing building, as far as fire training center building, loss of power, there needs to be almost like a standalone. Okay, so again, duplicity as far as power is concerned, but then also from a fire separation standpoint, we needed to do that as well. So again, there will be a fire separation wall that takes place between 911 and the interim space, but that interim space is crucial to create it as an economical, just because of that existing 2-story construction on the existing building.
Kelly's going upstairs. If this is satisfying the bulk of that one.
Right, so go to the
Right.
next page if you would. So the 911 call center, everything on the right, that large square, that's all single story. Again, that's a vaulted ceiling for acoustics. We do have the opportunity of building a second floor, and that's what I'm proposing. And that's located above that entrance space. And that's accessible through the second floor with the use of the elevator and so forth. That's approximately 845 square feet, let's say roughly 850 square feet. Right now, that would be potentially an unfinished space. So therefore, as office space is required, whether that's through 911, whether it's fire training, whether it's the coroner's office that is currently looking for space, perhaps even Weights and Measures, because Weights and Measures has their equipment located again, outpost, DPW outpost. This provides flex space that could be utilized. And it's since it's vertical construction, if you would, okay, foundation's already in, all of those costs, it's cheap space.
It's cheaper.
It's cheap space as far as that's concerned. So understanding one of the discussions that we've been having, I know when we were talking about the OFA, was building for the future, not just building for today, but building for the future. So this provides us an opportunity without blowing the budget completely to go ahead and actually build some cheap space for additional offices.
But the cathedral ceiling in the main center, is that some kind of auditory requirement?
That is correct.
Yeah.
Because of the acoustics.
And that space actually has a hollow floor too. There'll be a floor, so that they can run wiring around underneath there,
So that being said, what I'd request of the committee, if it supports it, would be to pass a motion this evening requesting that it go back to the budget ARPA group for additional funding in the amount of $400,000.
You want that right now?
Yeah.
I would make that. I think that's a good idea. So I would support that project. And that differential.
Motion and a second, all in favor?
Thank you. DPW, the roof replacement has been complete. So that's been a long-standing project. So I know the mechanics are happy, the fact that they don't have
Toolbox don't
rainwater
fill up
coming
with
in.
water anymore,
Yeah, we don't have the buckets laying around or anything like that. So that actually went very smooth. Contractor did a nice job on that. We're still waiting to do the warranty inspection. So that'll be forthcoming. We expect the racks to be delivered. So that way they can start putting the racking system for the future solar project and doing the interconnection. However, one of the, again, supply chain issues that we're running into is the lack of ability to obtain panels themselves.
Right.
Panels look like they're not going to be able to be on site until sometime during the summer. More likely the latter part of the summer, by August into September.
Somebody better get cranking because quite a state wins for them.
Yeah, especially the way
Yeah.
the funding is coming. As Brian indicated, public safety building, the new cooling tower installation is complete and can be placed into service. Space utilization, so the space planning questionnaire has been distributed, expected those back at the end of this week. Once that takes place, then I'll be making copies of those and getting them out to the space utilization subcommittee for review. Again, we probably will also have a few interviews with some of those departments as well to gather additional information. All right. DSS building. So through the work of the County Climate Smart Task Force, Columbia County, they are eligible to receive a grant in the amount of up to $15,000 through NYSERDA, known as the NYSERDA Action Grant. And that's to potentially fund a project that we're looking at for DSS. If you remember, the overall scope of that project was to include a roof-mounted solar array. And so this particular funding source would fund that project. And
For those of you that are on county government earlier, that's the resolution that Patrice brought through from county government. And again, Donnie Meltz is our climate smart coordinator and worked on this with Ray, but they had to earmark that money. Like I say, the committee, Ray says the committee is eligible for this grant funding, but that had to be earmarked towards a specific type of project that hasn't yet started. So although we haven't completely approved the DSS project yet, we earmarked this money for that, and it'll all hopefully fall in place.
Yeah, because originally we were actually going to look at the DPW garage, but since that project was started, it's not eligible. So that's why we looked at going to DSS. So
They
the
got
only
funny
thing,
rules, but we're following.
right, the only thing I would request is that, the committee provide a motion supporting that that an application in the amount of $15,000 be applied for to NYSERDA to fund the project on the DSS.
I'll second it.
Motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, thank you.
To resolution. First resolution is for supplemental agreement with Barton Judas to take on the contract administration and construction inspection associated with the Valley View Bridge replacement.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second, all in favor?
And I have received a contract back from New York State DOT approving the funding of that work as well. Okay. Second resolution is associated with the Mill Hill Bridge, and it's to a professional service agreement. Enter into a professional service agreement with KS Engineering, the amount of $64,402 for the design and right-of-way incidentals for the reconstruction of the Mill Hill Road Bridge. Please keep in mind, this particular project is 100% county funded, so you don't have to go through DOT for this. And again, this was budgeted for 2023.
You ready, Ray?
Just looking through the other ones, I'll see
I'll
what I'm
second
looking for.
Motion, do I have a second?
I have notes regarding yours in my notes.
All in
Okay,
favor?
we're just wondering.
Yeah, yeah.
So we're gonna stop saying aye.
Yeah, please refer to the notes regarding the stuff, because there's some information updates there. Next resolution is for, entering into agreement with New York State as far as the funding of the project for the Stuyvesant Falls Bridge associated with the design cost and right-of-way incidentals in the amount of $480,000.
I'll move it.
Second.
Motion and a second, all in favor?
And from that, moving forward with a resolution to hire the consultant for the project, which would be Clough Harbin Associates, also known as CHA, in the amount of $805,779 for, again, design and right-of-way associated with the replacement and/or rehabilitation of Stuyvesant Falls Bridge. This is a DOT-funded bridge, so it's federal highway monies.
Federal highway.
So a
Take
lot
a
of,
stab and move it again.
Yeah.
a lot of red tape.
Second it, yeah.
Motion and a second, all in favor?
Yeah, when you look at the
Thank you very much,
comparison,
folks. I tried to stay out of that one, but let me tell you, this is,
gonna be historically correct when it's built.
that is our intention.
Are you serious, really?
It'll have to respect the fact that it is listed on the register, so we will have to get approval from them.
That was built when there were horses and carriages. I don't think there were cars yet, were there?
Yeah, no, well, actually, it replaced an earlier bridge. I've shared pictures with Ray. If you come to our history event, we've got some photos of that when it was a wooden bridge.
it's an old wooden bridge at one time with a center pier. No, it had a center pier. Okay. It had a center pier, but
Yeah.
still, that was still.
So this one was built in 1890, something.
Yeah, that's still a lot. That's
What was
still a
this
lot.
bridge? Was it 1929 or something like that?
No, 1890.
What kind of weight was that?
Back then, who knows? Who knows what they
Wood?
actually had it for. But
Yeah, it would. Yeah, I don't know. And actually, you would get a kick out of it, but there's a picture that Mom found of this bridge when it was first done in the early 1900s, but it has a early steamroller on it. And I'm telling you, I Googled it, trying to find a picture of what kind of a steamroller this, because it looked more like a locomotive or something.
Yeah.
And the steamroller dated to like 1865 or something, but did I share that picture with you, Ray?
yes,
Or-
yeah, I have that as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I'm saving those for when we actually get to the public presentation.
I know, yeah, no. It's a neat history bridge.
It's
but,
isn't it?
It's a 200-foot span.
202 foot.
And they had a steamroller on it.
Yeah,
But again, keep in mind they
That
had a
was the
steamroller
steel
then,
deck
and when
bridge.
it was wood, they had a center pier in the middle of the
Right.
creek and it was 100-foot span for each one of those, which again, for wood
Yep.
was quite significant.
Well, and actually, all my residents are very concerned about that bridge project.
Next resolution is to enter into professional service agreement with Labella Associates. Labella is also the architect working on the 911 center, but this is in the amount not to exceed $15,000 to assist the engineering department in preparing a long-term facilities plan.
I'll move it.
I have a question about this.
Yeah.
What's the direction with regard to the kitchen? Aren't we slowing the kitchen down because of the thoughts of outsourcing those?
Yeah, this is the master plan that we're talking about. But in general, yes, we're still looking at that.
Yeah,
We
there's-
haven't moved ahead on that.
Right, and so the master
Particular
plan also
project.
takes a look at the existing buildings, including the kitchen, and what those renovation costs or investment would be.
To try and dig into the Philmont building a little bit more.
There's some
But
different.
their
ideas
final
floating around.
recommendation will be subject to some decision with regard to the kitchen, right?
Yes, yeah,
That's why I
absolutely.
just want to make sure the kitchen's not a
Yeah,
given,
we get
that it's still an unknown fact.
Still,
That's correct,
Yes,
yes,
yes.
it's still being evaluated.
That's all I want to be sure.
there's stuff going on with that right now, so.
Yeah.
yeah.
Thank
We have a
you.
motion.
I have a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Second, all in favor?
Where are we at with the ARPA allocations? You know, we're going $400,000 potentially.
We're, we're still in pretty good shape, you know, we're gonna meet and go over some of these numbers.
Is that gonna come out like broadband or?
It could,
We
yeah.
could, because broadband's really. not
There's a
gonna
few of
need
those things that we're not gonna be able to spend money on. That's what, I mean, and because the time is gonna time out.
We're shoveling,
Yeah,
you know,
about a year and a
shuffling
half
around
left
a
of
little
the
bit.
size.
Right.
So, yeah, we're still in pretty good shape. We just gotta figure out, you know, some of these differentials we got. So we'll be meeting to go over these soon, actually.
Yeah, because I saw this little Register Star article, how many bad bridges I have in my town.
And
I don't want to engage in any selfishness with you.
What?
However,
But I can expect a phone call tomorrow.
That's right, yeah.
There was also a meeting this week with Pete Buttigieg at Ryan. I don't know if anybody else was on the call. And there is much more federal money. It was explaining how the federal money is going to be distributed through the state. And
I've heard
down
that,
to
yeah.
us. I'm going to send a slide deck around as soon as I get.
I'd appreciate that.
But bridges is a big focus of that.
Which needs to be. Yeah.
Right.
Because, you know, up until, you know, recently, the federal aid had been really flat, right? I mean, you know, we hadn't had anything increased, and I can't remember the numbers of what we were allocated per year, but it wasn't much, you know?
It was a little over $1 million a year,
Yeah.
which again, based on
So,
the 140 structures that we're responsible.
and when you
for.
have a $5 million project,
Yeah,
you
each
know,
bridge-
you have to do nothing for 5 years and then do one. And, so, yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah, unless we're putting our own funds together, we're never going to catch up to it.
But they're really pushing this out.
No, we haven't. I discussed it last month. but
Oh,
We
okay,
actually,
We didn't,
We
we
didn't-
actually,
yeah,
yeah.
I did not take action, or the committee did not
Right,
take
right.
action on it. I just brought it before.
And
you.
this
I
is a
remember
different
the
one, I think,
numbers.
anyway.
Yeah, so actually, after the discussion that we had, I actually was able to get a hold of a different vendor.
Okay.
Okay, so this one is Box Modular, again, just a different vendor, going through a different cooperative purchasing agreement.
Mhm.
And again, maximum amount would be 215,000. If you
What was it
remember,
last time? Yeah,
last
60 or
month it was
something.
285.
I remember that, because I was complaining.
Correct,
Yeah, right.
correct. And I think
Yeah.
Supervisor Stats was
He was
not
gonna
happy
build
with
it for us,
the
but, you
285.
know.
Well, so again, that prompted me to dig a little deeper and
Good.
see what we can do. And so I did find another vendor. They did provide the specifications, comparable specifications as far as that goes. And so we would like to move forward with the purchase of this particular unit. Again, not to exceed $215,000.
Is Jolene gonna get those nice lofty ceilings?
No, they're not lofty ceiling.
I'll move that.
It's coming in on Tractor Trailer, I know.
Is that building only cost or does that include the slab and site prep?
That's the building only.
We went through that. Yeah.
Correct. That's for the building only, and we anticipate that the highway department
We'll do the rest.
facilities will be doing the site work.
But they did include, I saw some of the skirting and insulation and all that.
That is
Yeah,
correct,
yeah,
yeah.
it's
So
complete,
they
yeah.
actually include, not only the unit, the delivery, the skirting, the set.
Set up, yeah.
Okay, are responsible for the final connections, the pad, and obviously any other site. And this also includes the ramp and stairs.
You have a motion?
So I had a motion. Do we have a second? Second, all in favor? And when will that happen?
Lead time on that, they were looking at 7 months, I think, something of that nature, by the time they get it fabricated. Again, because nothing is,
Yeah, winter time.
yeah, but not only that, we actually, unlike the last vendor, this vendor was willing to customize. So we actually
Yeah,
added a
you and I
small
spoke about
vestibule
that.
and there's a service window that's going to be installed and
So
so
you got
forth.
quite a bit more.
Yeah, I think it was a better value overall. And we got really what we wanted.
And we saved some money.
Yeah, that's right.
Call PJ and tell him that. Say, we save money again.
Right. Yeah, tell them Ray actually tried to save money,
Right.
okay?
Usually not, you go through money.
I know. Next resolution has to do with dedicating land to the town of Copake associated with the County Route 7A reconstruction. Kelly, can you go just beyond this? There are a couple photos.
This,
Yes, thank you. So for those that may not be aware, this is a photo, an aerial that's taken of the existing hamlet area of County Route 7A right in Copake itself. So as part of the reconstruction, we are doing away with the island, okay, in that roundabout. We're creating a true T intersection. The problem that this particular layout provides is that, number one, it's very confusing with traffic heading in multiple directions because it's not really being used as a roundabout. Okay, if you take a look at
where
that.
the cars going.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
kind of a free for all.
Yeah, it really is. Yeah.
Crash and burn.
And it's problematic. And unfortunately, we did look at creating a roundabout, but there's not enough space for tractor trailers. And keep in mind, there's also a lot of RVs that come through this area as well because of the RV parks, the 2 RV parks in town. So what we are proposing to do, if we go to the next slide, is to create a green space, okay, and a T intersection. And if you take a look at the clock location as it's depicted here, that showed us not moving the clock. So that clock would be in the original location. After having discussion with the town, and understandably so, their concern is that it's so close to the intersection there that what if a tractor trailer jumps the curbs or something of that nature. So they would like to have us move that back further into the green space, which is fine by us. But overall, we recognized, and in reviewing the information initially, that the clock was listed as a state and national historic feature, which was not necessarily going to be an issue. Believe it or not, the issue that we run into is the circular feature that surrounds the clock is also a listed state and national. It's part of the overall feature.
Careful when you do that stuff.
And so, unfortunately, although there hasn't been a tremendous amount of pushback from SHPO regarding the relocation of the clock because there's truly no loss of the clock, there is a loss of the circular feature. So there's pushback coming from SHPO on that. So what we would like to do as the county and the engineering department is we are creating green space. And as a mitigating measure is to dedicate that green space, that land, because all of that land, with the exception of roughly 10 feet in front of the building, all of that green space is actually within our right of way. But as a mitigating measure, what we would like to do is to dedicate that to the town of Copake, so that way they can create it as a pocket park. And again, they can relist it with the clock included in that green space. So the resolution tonight is authorizing the chairman, well, authorizing the preparation of documentation and allowing the chairman to dedicate that land in ownership over to the town of Copake. So that way the town of Copake can continue to
Maintain it.
utilize it for their own green space. It'll house it'll contain the clock and also the monuments, but then also, as important as far as the county's concerned, the town would be responsible for future maintenance of that as well. It's their property at that point.
I'll move that.
I'll second it.
I assume Jeannie's happy with that?
Yes, and so last week we had a town board meeting, so I talked with Ray on Wednesday and brought it to the town board on Thursday, and we also put it in our town newsletter, and I haven't gotten any opposition.
Okay.
The flip side of this
Right, the flip side of
is
this,
that
right,
the bicentennial is now moved back from 2025, where it did belong, to 2024, where it should have been. But now all of our bicentennial will be in the proper year, albeit on the old roads. Oh, yeah, but you didn't really explain that part.
Right.
That-
So as part of this, because of the extensive review that has to take place, it's what's known as a 4F review. The review first goes to SHPO for their review. It then goes to New York State Department of Transportation for their review and approval and comment. It then has to go up to the Federal Highway Administration for their historic
See,
review.
Tim, and you wonder what we're gonna do with the Thousand Falls Bridge, huh?
So that process, we don't think that we're gonna be able to get through that process before the end of December of this year. So it's almost pushed us back nine, yeah, it almost pushed us back 9 months, if not a year. So again, originally, we were hoping to have construction start in 2024. The reality is that that's not going to take place, so it's going to be pushed to 2025. And that was the discussion that I had with the supervisor, letting the supervisor know it makes sense to now move forward with the bicentennial for the actual
Actually,
appropriate
the
date.
actual time, right?
Yeah, the appropriate date rather than waiting a year.
So it's all gonna work.
But you'll be ready for the national festival.
Yeah. No, but we'll be ready for, our bicentennial is actually April 4th. Well, the original town board meeting was April 4th, 1824. So this way we will celebrate the exact
See,
date
Right.
and then go into the summer.
Right.
And it's fine.
So this Saturday, the town of Stuyvesant will celebrate our
Yes,
bicentennial. We're 200
that's
years
what I-
old, but that our first town board meeting was the 22nd of April, in 23. So,
Yeah.
Is there something in the water?
yeah, I guess so. Something in April, you know, I don't know.
What do you do with heavy snowfall when
So
that
I mean,
intersection is
it's
plowed
like-
out? Do you stack it around the clock and then
Didn't we?
they load it out? Or do you just
I find it.
Yeah, if it's snowfall, we work with the town. We
Yeah.
take a day, we move all the snow, we take all the snow.
truck it out of it?
So just to be clear on that last resolution about transferring the land to the town of Copac, we had a motion in a second. Do I need an all in favor? I believe you because I signed it.
I have
Kelly
one-
says we didn't have it. So.
I have one additional resolution that has recently come up, although I know there's been a lot of discussion regarding this. And this is regarding the wellness hub. So the Greenberger Group, Greenberger Center, if you would, is looking to formally obtain the property from Colarusso off of Industrial Track Road. And one of the hangups has been access and utilities. So currently, there is an existing access easement across county line, or excuse me, across county property
yeah.
adjacent to the public safety building that allows access to that rear property. However, the easement itself is very specific, is that it only allows for the purpose of access. There's no language within that easement regarding utilities. So obviously, if that project were to move forward, it would need utilities, water, sewer from Greenport, as well as telecommunications and so forth. So this particular resolution is authorizing the chairman to enter into a
I'll
utility
second.
easement. And it's going over the same easement
Right.
that the access easement is.
I know I've seen the maps there. I know where they were.
So we have a motion in a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate the board or the committee allowing that to be placed on the agenda because
Yeah,
we are
Rob
trying
called
to
me
work
today,
with them.
working at the last minute. and
That wasn't my idea.
I know, I
It was
know.
someone else's idea.
When Rob called me, I said, "Did you ask Kelly?"
I was sitting right there. But yeah, that's good because that way it could go to full board at May and they can
Right.
proceed. So thank you very much. Any questions?
Where are we at?
Where are we
with
at?
that? Where are
We
we
start?
at? Yeah, please.
Yeah, so I did provide it in the notes, but we did receive input back from SHPO regarding the fact that they acknowledge that it is a loss as far as the structure, because although it is not listed, it is eligible to be listed. And as I believe I mentioned to you, one of the only reasons that it's listed, and SHPO does not agree with this, but it meets the time frame of a type of trust being constructed. What they call, it was a post-systematic trust. But basically it was built within a time frame that SHPO has designated. So therefore it's eligible. That being said, they have acknowledged the loss. They are requiring that we enter into a memorandum of agreement regarding the loss. And what we are proposing, the consulting are proposing, is that we provide for bear with me for a moment, documentation, okay, of the structure. So that would mean photos, obtaining copies of the original plans, scanning those documents, obtaining a narrative as far as a brief history as far as the bridge, and providing that to the townships as well as the county historian. That agreement has to be signed by the county. It has to be signed by SHPO, and also because the only way that memorandum of agreement can take place is that there needs to be a federal agency involved. The federal agency involved in this project would be the Army Corps of Engineers, because we have to get a permit in order to do work within the stream. That being said, we're heading in the right direction. We've already made a submission to the Army Corps of Engineers that includes the memorandum of agreement, and we've formally submitted to SHPO at the same time.
But is that gonna change the initial design that
No.
kind of went after?
No, it's not. So again,
Are you getting pushback from some of the residents? Because I've gotten some calls on that.
I have not. No, I had gotten initially during, when,
In the
after the
beginning.
closure
Yeah.
and so forth, I had gotten phone calls from some of the residents indicating that they would like something to be done.
Right.
I indicated to them why we were not heading back to a truss structure because of the maintenance issues. We had also done an analysis with the consultant providing for 5 different alternates
Right.
to SHPO. One of them including building a truss, and there are others as well. And SHPO acknowledged the fact that they were understanding that it would be a loss of the structure because of its current condition. They have not provided any additional input regarding the design.
Design, okay. That's what I was wondering. But
That'll be the next step.
I just want you to document it.
So what's this doing to our time frame? Because, I mean, I have people that are obviously very upset with this. So it won't be clear. I mean, it's just.
Absolutely.
10
yeah,
minutes,
as
so-
we both
Correct.
getting that.
No, understood. Yeah. So it is, it is delaying the process. It's not as extensive of what we're going to be dealing with Copay. Because again, this is federally funded, or my apologies, this is county funded project. My apologies,
Yeah,
county
we're
funded
paying,
project.
right,
So the only agency that we really have to work through this historic item is SHPO.
Right.
So again, it should be an expedited timeframe compared to what we're looking at Copay. That being said, they are working on their preliminary design as it stands right
Do you
now.
think we'll be able to do some start on construction this year at all or not?
I believe, well, as per our original
I know.
concept, we were going to be going out to bid this year and then starting construction in 2024. I still believe that that's the case, that we can still do that. Because again, we don't have all of those, although we have this review,
Right.
we don't have extensive reviews with DOT,
Yeah.
like the other federally aided
Right.
projects.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, once I obtain more information regarding that and the status, I'll reach out
Yeah.
to
Let us know.
both of the
So maybe we can at
supervisors.
least get the design done and order the steel, so we know that's 9-10 months out.
That's true.
Yeah, yeah.
We're hoping supply chain would quicken rather than lengthen at this time.
You would think it'd get better. We have one last resolution. If there's nothing else for Ray, I don't want to cut him off, but we do have a resolution request for someone to use the gazebo. I'm assuming this is at the,
It's not a resolution, it's just an application to use the gazebo. They use it every year, the Overcomers Ministry.
this is over at the courthouse.
At the courthouse,
Yeah.
yeah. It's an hour long, about 30 to 100 people. They don't know how many people will show up.
May 4th at 5 p.m.
So it always has to come before this committee for
Yeah.
approval to use it. And she did give a insurance certificate as well.
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion is second, all in favor?
I,
And then I start doing this, right?
You don't have to sign this or anything, Kelly?
No, that's just a phone call.
That's it.
Is there anything else to bring to Public Works? No audience? No members of the public? To try and get out and see, Jolene's, digester project and the general, layout of solid waste.
You don't want the whole public coming on.
Friday.
I mean,
Friday.
climate smart. If you
Yeah.
are-
Start rolling it out and then people are
Yeah.
interested.
Renovations.
Thank you.
All right, then I can entertain a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Motion and second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you very much, everybody.